Hold onto your remotes. During the 2025 Emmys, John Oliver transformed what started as a lighthearted jeans gag into one of the most talked about television moments of the year when he dropped an unexpected expletive live on air. In an instant, the suave host went from joking about his blue jean tuxedo to testing the limits of network censorship, leaving both the audience in the Dolby Theater and millions of viewers at home scrambling to process what they'd just heard. The second that single four-letter word escaped his lips, the broadcast jolted into a frenzy of producer panic, censor beeps, and social media fireworks. If you thought award show flubs were confined to teleprompter malfunctions or awkward stage banter, think again. This was a reminder that, in live television, anything can, and often does, happen. On stage, John Oliver sashayed in alongside co-host Nate Burleson, sporting what he cheekily described as a blue jean tuxedo. A playful conspiracy theory setup awaited, a whiteboard plastered with red string and photos, all designed to lampoon a recent jeans commercial starring Sydney Sweeney. Oliver aimed to build to a payoff in which Sweeney herself would walk through the curtain and react to the on-stage ribbing. But midway through his riff, he froze. He glanced down at the board, then at his co-host, and admitted that he'd completely blanked on his own joke. In that split second of genuine confusion, he quipped, "I guess you're allowed to curse on TV now," and without a beat, uttered the word that network television still bleep censors. Fuck. The live feed control room sprang into action. Cameras cut away, a bright red beep blared through viewer speakers, and producers scrambled to regain control of a ceremony known for its polished veneer. From the audience's laughter and Oliver's own mischievous smirk, it was clear he'd intended to test the boundary, but even he seemed somewhat surprised by the immediate, visceral reaction. He recovered quickly, laughing off the moment with a self-deprecating, "Well, that happened," before steering the bit back on course, ultimately inviting Sydney Sweeney on stage to bring the jeans gag home. Yet the real punchline had already landed, echoing across social feeds in real time. Within seconds, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok lit up with clips of the bleeped expletive. Some viewers cheered Oliver's boldness, praising him for cutting through the usual award show polish with a moment of raw authenticity. "John Oliver is amazing. I love him so much," wrote one fan, capturing the delight of those who admire his fearless brand of humor. Others seized on the moment as proof that even the most scripted events can deliver genuine unpredictability. A commentator dubbed him "so based," lauding his willingness to stick it to the powers that be and noting how co-host Nate Burleson had utterly fumbled his own lines in comparison. For a segment of the audience disillusioned with celebrity culture, the beep-worthy slip felt like a small victory against an overproduced entertainment machine. But naturally, not all reactions were confined to the realm of light-hearted fandom. A few viewers took the bleep as further evidence of Hollywood's alleged disconnect from reality, with one user condemning disgusting celebrities and another blaming the entire industry for political and social grievances far beyond a simple profanity. One commenter accused the Hollywood establishment of complicity in global atrocities, while another lamented the state of mainstream media, wondering whether powerful gatekeepers would allow a British comedian to speak his mind again. Even the notoriously cryptic troll accounts made their presence felt, spamming random references that had nothing to do with the context. In those chaotic comment threads, the expletive became a Rorschach test onto which everyone projected their own anxieties, whether about free speech, corporate control, or international politics. To appreciate why a single profanity caused such a stir, it helps to understand the long-standing rules of live TV censorship. Major award shows, even when simulcast on cable, typically operate under a self-imposed, family-friendly policy. They employ a short broadcast delay, often 3 to 7 seconds, specifically so producers can censor profanity, indecent gestures, or anything that risks drawing advertiser ire. This practice dates back decades, rooted in the Federal Communications Commission's regulations on indecent content during hours when children might be watching. Although cable and streaming platforms have eased up on so many of those restrictions, live, primetime awards ceremonies continue to maintain that clean-cut image. When Ricky Gervais or James Corden have pushed boundaries at the Golden Globes or the Oscars, it's always been with razor-sharp wit rather than literal four-letter words. That's why Oliver's fuck cut through the usual scripted set pieces like a bolt of lightning. John Oliver's own television pedigree only heightened the impact. As the host of HBO's Last Week Tonight, he's built a reputation on uncensored, investigative comedy. There, he dissects political scandals, corporate misdeeds, and cultural absurdities without the need to dial back for network sensibilities. But taking that act onto a mainstream awards stage meant voluntarily stepping into an environment governed by a different rulebook, one he clearly chose to thumb his nose at, if only for a fleeting moment. The juxtaposition of his HBO-honed, no-holds-barred persona against the traditionally polished, advertiser-friendly Emmys created the perfect storm for a memorable television moment. Beyond the immediate shock value and the viral clips, that split-second expletive underscored a deeper truth about modern entertainment. Audiences crave authenticity more than ever. In an era where every aspect of a live broadcast can be pre-recorded, scripted, or rehearsed down to the millisecond, unscripted glitches become the most valuable currency. Viewers don't simply want to watch stars deliver rehearsed patter. They want to believe they're witnessing something real, something unplanned. John Oliver's bleep-worthy slip reminded everyone that you can't completely erase the unpredictable nature of live performance, no matter how many production meetings you hold or how many teleprompter runs you do. The moment also offered a glimpse into the evolving relationship between hosts, networks, and audiences. For decades, award show presenters have walked a tightrope, delivering jokes edgy enough to feel fresh yet safe enough to please sponsors and network executives. In recent years, hosts like Ricky Gervais or Jimmy Kimmel have leaned into sharper political commentary, but even they generally avoid uttering profanity that would trigger an FCC-style bleep. By dropping the F-bomb, Oliver raised the stakes for anyone who steps behind a podium in the future. Will producers tighten the reins next year? Will hosts demand more leeway? Or will networks ultimately embrace these raw, unpredictable moments as a selling point for live viewership in an age of on-demand streaming? As for the Emmys themselves, the moment of chaos has already outshone many of the evening's actual awards and speeches. Water cooler conversations, late-night shows, and online think pieces are busy dissecting Oliver's one word more than they are debating whether a particular actor deserved the statuette. The telecast, which for years risked fading into a forgettable blur of self-congratulation, suddenly feels alive again, proof that sometimes all it takes to rekindle interest is a single unscripted breath. Awards ceremonies live and die by their most sensational moments, and this year, the bleeped fuck will be remembered long after the gilded trophies have collected dust. John Oliver's impromptu test of broadcast boundaries did more than generate headlines. It performed a small act of rebellion against an artifice that often feels too rehearsed, too cautious, and too coated with corporate gloss. In that brief slip, he reminded both viewers and networks that the raw edge of live television, its glorious unpredictability, still has the power to shock, amuse, and connect us in a way that polished perfection cannot. Whether you cheered his audacity, cringed at the profanity, or seized on the moment to launch a broader cultural critique, you couldn't deny the electricity in the air when that bleep rang out. And so, as we sift through the clips, the tweets, and the reaction posts, one thing remains clear. In the ever-evolving landscape of live entertainment, authenticity trumps polish every single time. John Oliver's fuck was more than just a momentary profanity. It was a reminder that no matter how tightly producers grip the reins, live television is an untamable beast, and that's precisely why we keep watching.